get going. The agenda, first we'll cover some club status, and then we'll get to our main topic. Future meetings, we do have a MaxSig coming up December 13th. That's their holiday end-of-year blowout party. So if you like food and camaraderie there, the MaxSig, where is Mike there? Oh, he's down at the end there. Mike is having a blowout party where the potluck and different things are brought in. I think he's still working on the logistics of what building and where, but it is scheduled for the 13th. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Our next question and answer session is December 3rd, and our next general topic is December 18th, and that'll be on backing up your devices, what to back up, where to back up, and how to back up. Officers, Jim is our president. Linda, I don't see Linda here today. Paul Ebert is here. He's our membership secretary. Oh, you're online. I thought I was hearing Linda from the Solventum building across the street there. No, well, glad you could make it there, Linda. You're missing out on the pizza. Paula is our treasurer. Chuck is our recording secretary. Mike Griffin leads the MaxSig. Andrew will probably be coming in at 12 o'clock or so. He likes to be fashionably late there. My name is Tom Kreuzer, and we also have our volunteers. Members old and new, you can pay your dues to Paul. Just a reminder, if you're changing your email, make sure and notify us, because that's the way we send out notices and renewals and things like that. If you do have suggestions for topics, you can email your ideas for topics or talk to any of the board members. We're always looking for people to volunteer to present. Could be on hardware, software, something you use at work, something you use at home. If you don't want to present, we do have a monthly eBytes newsletter. You can write a sentence or two or multiple pages, and we'll publish it in the newsletter. Website has our past meeting slides and handouts. We also have our past recordings. We also have a deals section, and our eBytes newsletter is out there, and the link is sent on all the emails that we send out. Later this week, we'll be sending out the annual PC Club survey, and we ask that you take some time and fill it out and return it by December 20th. It's used to help us make decisions on future topics, and also you'll see I use the statistics in a number of presentations that I do. First, I want to thank Paula for ordering the pizza. And Chuck got the water and the cookies there. Not so much for Chuck, because he didn't get me chocolate chip cookies. He got raisins, and he was trying oatmeal. Well, the oatmeal I don't mind. The raisins I mind there. But that's okay. I was able to find some other choices there. The format today. Feel free to get up and get some pizza or cookies or stuff like that. We'll cover this stuff. It's more informal than some of the others there. If you do have a question and you're in the building here, and I think we had close to 23. Okay, I think Paul had said we had like 23 signed up. So good crowd. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for coming out. Well, no problem there. Our main topic's going to be buying tech equipment by myself, Tom Kreuzer. If you're looking for the Jason Paul, Mike Tyson fight, you'll have to go over to Netflix, and it's probably still buffering there. For our people online. But we'll talk about buying tech equipment, our annual pizza meeting. Most retailers have already kicked off their holiday sales. Consumers have to decide whether to buy early to make sure that you get the items that you want, or hold off in hopes of getting better deals later on. Many deals masquerading as fantastic bargains are not as good as they look. It's easy to get fooled. AI has added to the confusion to the mix. So if you happen to ask any of the chat bots, what's a good device to buy, or what do they recommend, or things like that, you'll find that the AI chatbots are very, very unreliable for this type of information. And the reason for that is they have old, outdated data. So they don't have the most current data and the most current models and feedback, because they're getting all this information from all over the internet. Well, AI is much better at content that has been out there for over a year. And so anything that's newer than that is a lot of hallucinations, which is bad information, or just old information it's spitting out. Excuse me. Okay, the top 5 shopping sites, and these pretty much hold the same there. Number 1 is Amazon. 2 is Target, 3 is Newegg, Best Buy, Walmart, and then this was a new entry last year, and it's moving up the line, Temu. Excuse me, I have to get a drink and eat a cookie there. This is from the survey, last year's survey there on where people buy, and you can see we kind of mimic the top ones in the country for electronics. Best Buy, number 1, 62% of our members are buying from there. Amazon, Target, Apple Store, Costco, Walmart, Microbay, eBay. We don't buy as much from Newegg as the rest of the country does, and Temu is pretty small too at this point. But you can take a look at the survey for different information, and I reference it a couple of times during the year there. We also have out on our website, we do have a deals section. In there, there's some discount codes, some tips, and things about rebates. A little disclaimer, even though you see discount codes or links to sites and discounts, check around other sources, because what's linked out there may be old. It may not have the lowest price around. So and we'll talk about ways that you can check and sites that you can use a little later here. Okay, let's get to some tips on shopping. Start early. Deals are already kicking off. Nobody waits till Black Friday anymore. All these companies are trying to get ahead of each other. So you're seeing sales that almost start after Halloween and continue through the end of the year. And if you're looking for something, if it's a hot product, you don't want to wait till the last minute. It may be sold out, or it may not arrive on your doorstep. It may be back ordered. Be flexible. Skip the in-store sales and shop online. And I don't know, I do most of my shopping online. The retailers will offer more promotions online than they do in the stores. Most online stores offer you free delivery. So even if you don't have an Amazon Prime or a Target or anything like that, most of their limits are like $25 or $35, and you get free shipping, or can pick it up at their store. So you can save your time looking in the store and doing all kinds of stuff. You can get the free delivery, ship to store, curbside pickup. If there are bigger items that you're looking at purchasing, or it's more complex, that's an example of maybe you do want to go into the store. So if you're looking at a TV and you've never seen that model of the TV before, it can be beneficial to go into the store and see exactly what it looks like, how it looks like from an angle, and things like that. And that can be true of a laptop or a keyboard. All these keyboards have different feel to them. So some of those items you may want to go into the store and take a look there. doesn't mean that you have to buy it at that store. So if their price at that store is inflated or high, and you can find it online somewhere else, write down the model number, write down exactly what it is, search for it online. You can use a number of websites and apps to check how good the deals really are. You can use Google Shopping as an example, Price Grabber, and Shopzilla. When you're in a store, if there's something that you see, you can use apps like BuyVia, ShopKick, ShopSavvy, Shopular, that let you scan a barcode or a QR code to compare prices, get discounts, and store coupons. If you're going out on Black Friday or looking for the best deals on Black Friday, there's websites like Best Black Friday, Deal News, BlackFriday.com, Deals Plus, BlackFriday.fm, and Got a Deal. You can also sign up for alerts, which you can usually filter by product category. Browsers extensions like Camel, and Honey can show you the price and the history and give you price alerts and coupons. We'll take a quick look at Camel. How many people use Camel? Okay, a couple here in the room here. So this is the website Camel. You can go out here and it's basically anything that Amazon sells, you can get information about. So let's look up Amazon dot. And then it lists these different, since there's different Amazon dots, let's go to this one, let's look up this one, and get some detailed information about this. So this is really handy if you're buying anything on Amazon. This is going to, let me close that, this is going to give you the price history. And you can select as much as you want, but you can see here the price history for this Amazon dot. The Amazon dots, if you're not familiar, has a retail price of $49. Well, right now it's selling for $49.99 out on Amazon. Well, a week earlier, I could have gotten it for about half of that. And you can see how Amazon changes the prices of that, and it goes up and down all the time. Sometimes it's in the $40 range or $39.95, but the cheapest that it is, oh, I tried to close. I clicked on the wrong there. It's not closing. There we go. So the lowest price was $22.99, so half price. And so Camel is nice to be able to see the price history to know if you're really getting a deal or you're not getting a deal. The other thing you can do with Camel is if you're interested in buying this, you can give your email there and give the price that you're looking for, and it'll notify you when the price goes down to that price. So you don't have to keep going out to Amazon or do things there. Yes?
When they go drop their price, are they maybe having some models out there that they know are not as good as when they have a higher price, or is it just market?
Yeah, the question, I'll repeat it for the people online. Why does the price change, or is it because they're going through a new model? No, it's just Amazon. And all companies do it. Even 3M does it. In the old days, 3M would say, we're going to sell this roll of Scotch tape for X amount of dollars or cents there. Now, you use artificial intelligence and you use these algorithms to figure out, well, we sell a lot of Scotch tape around Christmas time. We can bump up the price a little bit. We can get a little bit more. So prices go up and down, and based on global events that are happening in the world. Also, it's just on the different sales that they have. Amazon goes through and has summer sales, and then they have Black Friday type sales and things like that. So the product is the exact same product. So you can either choose to pay $49 or get it at its cheapest for $22 if you can wait. And this is that reason of buying early. If you know what you want, you can watch some of this stuff and see the prices change. Yes.
This has actually been around for a long time, even before AI. I used to work for Target, and they often would do what they call a loss leader. They would put a lower price on something that they knew at this particular, like you were talking about when people buy a lot of Scotch tape, they will put prices down lower to get you in the door. Amazon does something similar where they think if you're going to buy Scotch tape, then maybe you'll throw a few more things into the basket when you're buying.
Okay, so it's good to check out some of these sites on the price history to know if you're really getting that deal or not, or what the price has been down to in the past. Also, a good tip is use the loyalty program. So almost every store has some type of loyalty program to grant members early access to coupon sales and promotions, free shipping, and then let you earn rewards on what you buy. So if you buy at Target, Target has a Target Circle. Walmart has a Walmart Plus, and these other options. Every store has an app and loyalty programs there. Another tip, get social. And by that, I mean go out to Facebook. Every major company has a Facebook site, an Instagram site, and Twitter or X feeds. You can see what the sales are and get exclusive deals and promotions that way. Create a budget and stick to it. Do your best to resist impulse buying. So the worst thing that you can do is just go out there without an idea of what to look for, and you just start putting all kinds of stuff in your shopping cart that you didn't really need, but you think, oh, this is a good deal. No, stick to your budget, stick to what you want. Check all store policies in advance. Don't buy and then regret that you bought it. It's always good to know the store's price match and return policies. Target already has announced that shoppers buying anything from October through December will be able to request a price adjustment if the price drops later in the season. So if you do buy something and the TV goes on sale, you can get the cheaper price there. Target also says it will continue its policy of matching select competitors' pricing within 14 days of customers' purchase. That's a little harder to get because if you look at a TV, let's say, between Best Buy and Target, they're almost never the same model number because they create a specific model for Target to prevent problems with price matching. So that's a little bit harder, but certainly if Target sells that particular model two weeks from now at a lower price and you bought it, you can usually get a price adjustment there. You can add items to your shopping cart if they have the price that you like, so that you can find them again quickly and be all set to order. Some of the sites, if they see that you've had an item in your shopping cart for a day or two or a week, will even offer you a discount or some kind of deal saying, we see that you haven't purchased this yet, and give you a little extra deal there. But even if you don't do that, you can leave it in the shopping cart, go to these other websites, check these other deals to see if you might be able to find a better deal there. You can Google search for reviews. Reviews, you always have to be skeptical because there are so many scams out there with reviews. And if you just go into Google or any search engine and type best tablets reviews, so you're going to buy a tablet and you want to get some reviews. Well, the first items that show up at the top are paid links going to sites probably promoting their tablet. So if you see the word sponsor at the top or anywhere there, that means that they paid Google to have the results show up towards the top or that and to get you. And like I mentioned, there's a whole bunch of fake reviews out there because you can have these bots automatically create reviews and try and get, well, this item is rated 4.5 stars or 5 stars, and you have to be skeptical on some of that. Some other tips. Refurbished devices. If buying a laptop, tablet, or phone, make sure that it contains a new battery. So most of the certified recycling places, Apple, you can buy refurbished Apple Macs, iPads, things like that. Whenever they refurbish them, they put a brand new battery in there. So if you're not buying from a refurbisher who puts in a new battery, the battery that you get may not hold much of a charge, and the cost to buy a new battery, well, you probably should have just bought a new iPad or a new Mac at that particular point. Also, make sure what operating system they run, whether it's on the Mac side or on the Windows side. If you're buying an older iPad or an older iPhone, it may not be able to be upgraded, and there may be no more upgrades to that version of the operating system, which could leave you vulnerable to viruses and hacking there. This is especially true with Windows because we've had numerous times that we've talked about Windows 11. Windows 11 is the current version out there. Windows 12 will come out next year. But Windows 10 expires October of next year. And unless you've bought a new machine in the last 3 years or maybe 4 years there, your machine is incapable of being upgraded to Windows 11 or 12 when it comes out. So at that point, I believe the number in the United States is something like 240 million PCs are going to become obsolete. People shouldn't use them. These are the same people that are still running Windows 7 or Windows 8 and various versions. So even though the machine may still run, if it's not getting updated, it's susceptible to vulnerabilities in the operating system because the vendor is no longer supporting it. Yes. Yeah, Mike mentions check the warranty that the refurbisher gives you because it does vary greatly from refurbisher to refurbisher there. And also if you're checking prices, you can also check to see what a new item might cost you because some people just assume that it'd be so much cheaper. Well, in some cases it is, and in other cases it isn't. I've seen people buy a refurbished iPad, and I tell them, I said, well, you just got ripped off by Apple because you can walk into a Target store and buy a 9th generation iPad, 64 gigabytes for $199. Well, you were paying more than that at the Apple for an old refurbished device, which isn't as fast. And so watch what you're getting. Not everything's a deal. If you're buying secondhand, so buying from another person to person there, certainly there's deals to be had on Facebook and Craigslist if you're buying local. eBay, you can check the sold prices to see what's a good buy or what isn't a good buy. But again, know what you're buying, and if it contains a battery, is the person getting rid of it because the battery only lasts half a day now or something like that? Could be that. This I have to keep reinforcing with my brother-in-law and a number of people who ask me for suggestions on what to buy. Set a time limit to make a shopping decision before you start. You can spend more time on big ticket items and spend less on small common products. So if you're buying, let's say, an iPad, don't spend hours. Don't spend days, don't spend weeks trying to figure out what to get. You should be able to figure that out in less than an hour, what model you want, and then go out and buy it. So don't hesitate on these things and spend a lot of time, because you have in front of you all the tools to look at prices, to look at reviews, to figure out what you need. And if you're spending weeks talking to all kinds of people, you're going to get 20 different responses from 20 different people. Understand the shipping and return policies, and this goes back to what Mike was talking about too, and add warranty in there. Is it warranted at all, or is it warranted for 90 days or 60 days? Because if it is, you want to certainly give it a good workout before that warranty may expire there. Is there a return window? How do you return? What documents do you need? Or is there a restocking fee? Some of the companies will charge you a 20% or a 25% restocking fee. And if you don't check that stuff out ahead of time, you're going to be surprised thinking that, well, Target let me do it, so why doesn't this other company let me do it? Every company has different policies. Okay, buying a new PC, or a Mac for that matter. We'll even let people buy a Mac if they want. First, define what you plan to use the device for. That determines what type of device. Doesn't matter whether it's a phone, a tablet, a laptop, or a desktop would be best. And then what level of device that you need. Can you get by with a basic or the lower cost? Do you need a mid-range, or do you need a high-end or advanced? So you want to figure those things out. Just don't go in, buy something, and then start loading software or doing something. Gee, I bought this iPad for $199. Now I'm trying to do high-end video editing, and it's not working very well. Well, yes, it's not going to work well there. You may want, if you want to use an iPad there, they have iPads up to $3,000. A $3,000 iPad is going to be good for video editing, whereas a $200 iPad is not going to be good for video editing. And here I mentioned example, if you want to edit videos or you are a game player, you want the fastest and the fastest graphics, the fastest RAM, the fastest CPU, and you want all those things. The other unknown that's popped up in the last year and a half is AI on your local machine, whether it's your phone, your tablet, or your desktop. You can now get some of these AI capabilities built into the hardware and the software that's on there. If you want to do that, though, as opposed to we were moving away from needing large hard drives and things like that and putting more of our stuff up on the cloud and using cloud services for some of this stuff, well, if you're going to be wanting to use AI locally, that flips the table where you're going to need a high-end PC to be able to do a lot of the AI functionality there. Things like BASIC, it's fine for email, simple photo editing, viewing 1K videos in YouTube, Facebook, limited documents, and spreadsheets. So a lot of people do fit into the BASIC. Not everybody is an advanced, and not everybody needs to spend all the money there. And then I go into here again. Windows 10 is no longer supported in October 2025, although you can pay for support. It's just going to cost you a couple $100. Well, you might as well buy a new machine and get Windows 11 than pay that. There'll be millions of new PCs bought in the next year. So you're going to see lots of different sales, lots of different things. Most likely that'll drive up the prices as we get closer to October 2025. And also with our current elections, We have our president-elect possibly imposing up to a 60% tariff on China. Well, that's where most of our computers come from, and our smartphones and our tablets. So if you're looking to buy things, you have to kind of weigh all these factors. Should you buy now, or in 6 months? Is it going to be 50%, 60% higher? We don't know that, but certainly it's going to be a rocky next year here. Yeah.
If I went out midsummer and I bought a new computer that had Windows 11, because Windows 12 is not out yet, would I be ahead by buying it then and then just upgrading to 12 when it comes out in October?
Yeah, I'll repeat the question for the people online. The question was, if I buy a machine now that can run Windows 11, is it going to be able to run Windows 12 and that in the future? Yes, it is going to be able to run it. The main reason that old Windows 10 machines can't be upgraded to Windows 11 is a set of chips on the hardware-wise. Why we're getting a flickering. The chips for security that are required to be on the hardware that weren't there in the older machines. That's why the older machines can't be updated there. So the newer ones will be able to do it. Now, you bring up a good question there. If you want to get the latest and the greatest of some of the features in Windows 12 and even in Windows 11 as they add things, your PC is going to have to be compliant with what Microsoft calls Copilot Plus. Copilot Plus has a faster CPU, faster graphics card, a large hard drive, an SSD hard drive. You're going to need that if you want to run that. So that's where defining what you need initially will help you determine, do I upgrade? Do I buy new? If I buy new, what do I buy? Things like that.
Yeah. Along those lines, if we have an upgradable Windows 10 system that can be converted to Windows 11, how long of time will you have that conversion has to be upgraded a little more?
Yeah, the question is. Yeah, the question is, I'll repeat it for the people online. If I have a Windows 10 machine, should I upgrade right away, or can I wait? Technically, you can wait until October of next year. Microsoft's going to be patching it, so if there are security problems or things like that, Windows 10 gets updated. Microsoft has been making changes. Windows 11 has been out for almost 5 years now. 4 years or 4.5 years. So it's been out quite a while. Windows 10 has been out over 10 years, so it's old. I always tell people operating systems and software are like dogs. Multiply it, by 7 or 10 to get the real age there.
So then that leads me to the question that brings in how old the current Windows 10 is, even if it is adaptable to the upgrade. That if you're doing that with one of the first Windows 10s that can be upgraded, that maybe is going to peter out before one of the later Windows 10s you buy for upgrades and maybe last once you get converted to Windows 11.
Yeah.
Is there a finite time or expectations of how long that upgrade to a Windows 10 machine would actually last?
Yeah. I'll maybe instead of repeating it here, maybe we'll just talk about some of the issues that you asked about. It's a case of the Windows 10 machine. When you bought it, it has a CPU and it has memory and it has a graphics card. That's not going to change when you go to Windows 11. So if you had a slow machine that was a Windows 10, it's going to be a slow machine in Windows 11. You can buy a new machine and get better performance. But and I'll maybe leave it at that. We could.
Because, yeah, and then that gets it down to the choice of, are you doing an interim fix with upgrading the Windows 10 rather than just avoiding getting, I guess, some more recent model, because my laptop's been probably 4 years old. And so it's maybe better just to get the Windows.
And that's a decision everybody has to make of when to update or what to do. But certainly some of the people who had a machine that wasn't capable or was capable of being upgraded to Windows 11 didn't want to immediately convert over to it, because usually the first version has more bugs in it. But this is an old operating system. Windows 11 is old. Windows 12 is coming out next year. So it's this case of things change. But we'll continue on.
Thank you.
Yeah, with new AI PCs coming out, Microsoft will brand. This is from like HP and Dell and Acer and that. If it's AI compliant, they'll call it a Copilot Plus PC. Apple calls their devices Apple Intelligence or Apple AI. They require high-end CPUs, lots of RAM, fast graphics, and lots of SSD storage. Okay, 10 things to buy this season. Well, the number one thing is AI devices. You see all the vendors touting their new products and their new capabilities there. Televisions, cheap 4 and 8K TVs, also 100-inch TVs are ripe for the picking. Prices, instead of thousands of dollars, some of them, I think somebody was telling me they just bought a 65-inch for $320. So, prices are ridiculous.
Also, what streaming technology is buying. There's all kinds of buzzwords now, OLEDs and PMS and all of that, and that does make a difference in the price point.
Yeah, Mike is talking about there are different types and that's why what I'll tell people, and I used to sell stereos and that too, is people would come in and, I'm going to look for the best specs, and I'd say, if I was honest with them, and I was honest with most people, I'd say, you have to make that decision. You listen to it and tell me if this sounds good enough for you. Don't go by the specs. Because, this one has 250 watts, but you never play it above 20 watts of power. You just blew a ton of money on stuff. And Mike's right. The displays you aren't going to get for $320. You aren't going to get an OLED display for that. But somebody going into a Sam's or a Costco looks at the TV. That's good enough for them. Buy it. Don't go buy your friends unless you want to keep up with the Joneses or that. Don't go buy, I want the latest and the greatest, and I'm going to spend the most amount of money that I can. But, yep.
And in the stores, most of the TVs have a display mode, and so when you get home, you like to not be in that display mode. Display mode enhances color saturation and brightness, so it jumps out at you. So be a little suspicious, and also do your homework with reviews and things from a reliable source like CNET or something like that.
Okay. Okay, laptops, low-price laptops out there, and we'll show some of those tablets, smart speakers, headphones, smartwatches, smartphones, video games, cameras. Okay, let's look at, I usually go out to like PC Magazine. They're one of the trusted sources. The PC Magazine, if you don't know, was bought up by CNET, and so when you see things from CNET and PC Magazine and things like that, it's really... they're one of the original reviewers, magazines, and stuff like that. They don't take money from vendors for doing reviews, so they are one of my trusted, and I think Mike trusts them there too. And there's other sites like Tom's Guide. I don't own Tom's Guide, but Tom's Guide's another good one. Earbuds. So this is under $50. This kind of gets back to, so for $39 you can get these earbuds. Well, this gets back to, again, do you want an Apple AirPod or this? Try it and see. If it sounds good enough for you, you can spend whatever you want. TileMate. Tiles are out there, and Apple has its Apple tags there. You can get the Apple tags. Just kind of depends on what devices you have. If you have an iPhone or an Android phone, tiles are better on the Android, and if you have Apple devices, stick with the AirTags there. This is a Bluetooth speaker. You can get this for $35. And again, you can add it to a tablet or even use it with your phone. This is an option as opposed to if you have a tablet, and if you have an iPad tablet and you wanted to get the Apple case with the keyboard in there, that's $199. Well, I'd rather spend $35, but it depends on what you want. This is an example of a tablet. I do recommend the iPad, the 9th generation basic tablet if people just need a basic there, but there's even cheaper options than that. Here's an Amazon Fire HD. That lists at $79, and for Black Friday, I would guess it'd be down to $59 or less for an 8-inch tablet there. Kindles still very popular. So if you're trying to read books or magazines or that, and you're trying to use your tablet or your smartphone, don't use a Kindle. Your eyes will thank you, and it works very much better in bright sunlight or in darkness in bed reading than the other devices. Plus, it's going to last weeks and weeks on a charge, usually a couple of weeks on a charge there. Google Nest Hub, smart speakers. Now, instead of like the Amazon Dots, more people are getting the video capability. This is just an example of a larger screen. You can do video calls. If you have cameras in your house, you can check your cameras. You can do video chats or even attend the PC Club meeting there. Streaming, if your TV is old and you can't load the most current versions of some of the apps for streaming, it's easy just to add another device here, and this is an example of a Roku device that lets you stream almost anything that you want. This I liked that they had out there. It's Bambook lap desktop with power bank. So if you are going to be sitting on your couch or in bed doing things, this you can rest your tablet or laptop on there, and it has a power bank. So if you're running low on battery, you can charge or run off of that. This is from CNET, tech gifts under $100. You have the Bluetooth speakers are always popular there, and certainly they replaced a lot of the stereo systems that people used to have. You can just use your phone and use one of the Bluetooth speakers there. Amazon smart thermostats. If you don't have a smart thermostat, more and more people are getting them. You can monitor your house, make sure it's staying warm, turn it on ahead of time, set your schedules, do all kinds of automated things with the thermostat. This is Sony's noise canceling headphones. They aren't a excuse me, a Beats headphone, but at $100. Again, try it out, see if it sounds good enough for what you're doing. I list some of the best budget buys. They list some of the laptops and things like that. This is why, how much money do you put into an old laptop or try and do things? Well, you can buy an Acer Aspire here for $279. Here's a Lenovo iPad Chromebook. This is a Chromebook with touchscreen and kind of a mid-level model there, $379. So prices are very reasonable. Here's an Asus Chromebook. These are PC Magazine recommended choices, $439. Nitro, a little more power, a little more stuff there. Is an example of a desktop unit. Now, fewer and fewer people are getting desktop units. You may have seen the mini that are not much bigger than my phone here, and actually they can be attached on the back of a monitor, and you can have a Windows machine, or even Mac sells the Mac Mini that does everything that these almost everything that these bigger desktop units used to do there. You can get in the minis. And I've seen the minis. This is a warning. One guy sent me, must have been about 6 months ago, sent me a link and said, does this look like a good deal? And it was a mini that had 16 gig of RAM, faster CPU, supported 2 HDMI 4K monitors, and stuff like that. And he said, and it was $129. $129. And I said, everything's good about it except it can't run Windows 11. So you are essentially buying a very inexpensive piece there that you could use for another year, year and a half, and that. But so you do have to be careful out there. And Amazon did have a mini for I think $179 that was running Windows 11. I think they bumped the price up for that a little bit more now, but I'm not sure. This is another example of a good buy. It used to be that you had to pay $600, $700, $800, even $1,000 for a laser printer. Here's a laser printer here that's selling for $159. So if you've got an old inkjet printer and just need black and white, laser printer is the way to go. You'll cut your costs down and get better quality at a cheaper price. This is another one that they listed. This is a 3D printer. So if you've got younger kids or you're interested yourself in doing some 3D printing, the prices of these, again, have come down from thousands of dollars or $15 to $2,000. Now you can get them for $249. This is an example of an external hard drive. This is a 2 terabyte SSD and has USB-C connector, $79. A phone, but it'll connect to anything. Yeah, you can connect it to a Windows or to a Mac. They're just promoting that it has the USB-C, but actually I could take any drive, put an adapter on it, and connect even an old HDD drive. Okay, this is a Wi-Fi router. So Wi-Fi routers, just like smartphones, you should be replacing Wi-Fi routers. If you have your own, you should be replacing it probably every 3 to 4 years. The standards change about every 2 years, and these routers, Wi-Fi routers there, are a mini computer. So the CPUs get faster, they get better, things like that. And because everyone wants as fast as possible and things like that, this is an example here for You can update your home system for $60 there if you have a small house. If you have a bigger house, then maybe a mesh system. A mesh lets you have multiple units. So if you have a two-story house and a lot of bedrooms, and currently your single router is very weak or non-existent in some of the places, this is where a mesh system can be put in place there. Yeah.
A lot of the fiber installs now seem to provide all of that for you as a rent to your home. Upgrade to your own, first thing upgrade that every couple of years, something like that.
Yeah, the comment was made if you are getting like fiber or stuff like that, some of the providers will provide you with a Wi-Fi router, and that would be true even without the fiber, like Xfinity. The Xfinity routers that they charge you, Xfinity usually charges you, but those routers are cheaper routers and older standards and older devices. If you look at what standard they support and the speed and stuff like that, you can almost always get that. So if you're having trouble with your connections, it's always good to look at a better router and if you have a bigger house, maybe a mesh system there. And Xfinity actually does offer a mesh system, but again, their solution, you can find better solutions at kind of cheaper prices here. And yeah, and again, if it works there and you're getting the speed, a lot depends on your other devices. If you have multiple security cameras and you're storing all of the content up on the web and that's a big drain on any system there, and you want to have as much bandwidth and as much quality as possible there. But yeah. Okay, this is another one. I'm surprised they listed this in here, but I did want to, I keep trying to hammer this home. If you're not using a password manager, you must be using a password manager. And Bitwarden is the one that I recommend, and PC Magazine and many places recommend. It's free, so it doesn't cost you a thing. If you compare the features and functions in Bitwarden to even what you get in Apple Passwords, it's like night and day, the capabilities and things like that. So everyone that I see that has an iPad or an iPhone, I put Bitwarden on their phones and get them to use that. It works there, and it also works with passkeys. We've talked before about passkeys and how to protect your machine. This is an example of the Blink video doorbell system. So that's out there. This I mentioned, this is my recommended tablet, basic tablet. You can get the iPad, the 9th generation. They are selling the 10th generation also, but you can get the 9th generation 64 gigabyte version for $199. So that's a good buy, and that's you can get it at Target. I don't know if Best Buy still has it, but I saw this week Target still had it on sale for $199. These are some more examples of cheap desktops, and you can see the various prices and the various capabilities that are out here, so you can check that out. These are the best Chromebooks. Now you can see Chromebooks, you can get them starting at $189. So again, I don't recommend people after October of next year be using a Windows 10 machine, but you can replace it with a number of these other devices, which is usually going to be faster than what you currently have and only cost you $200, $300 there. This I kind of like and has gotten good press lately. This is the Ray-Ban smart glasses. This is not really a competitor to the Apple MetaQuest headset, the big headset that costs $3,000. This is the Ray-Bans, and these Ray-Bans have cameras in the front, earphone in the back there, button so that it links to your phone, so you can do things like Alexa, you can ask questions. I could be, let's say, in Tokyo, Japan. I could be looking up at the menu, and it can be translating that and telling me in my ear what I'm looking at there. I can take a video of people. I can take a picture of people. And actually, the company has backed off of some of the capabilities that it can do, but a number of people have kind of added their own software and their own features, and one of them is this case of, which I dearly would like, because I forget a lot of people's names. Well, with this and the right software there, you walk up to the person and it tells you who their name is and when you last talked with them and what you did.
Sign me up.
Yes, yeah. And the companies really aren't promoting it because this gets back to kind of, if you've seen China and their systems for facial recognition and tracking people and stuff like that. And so the companies are kind of worried if everybody had these glasses and had it turned on. And, well, is that an invasion of privacy? And yes and no. But certainly you're going to see capabilities like this. And I believe even Apple's talking about coming out with a pair of glasses that is similar to this with the capabilities. You can, yes, you can buy the prescription. It costs more than this pair lists for $329 with prescription. I think it was something like $4 something. And then if you needed progressives, so you can get all the different types of lenses there.
That though, you get Ray-Ban frames that list for $800, and they don't have any of those. Not that $800.
Yeah. Okay, we'll open it up for questions, and I'll check online here if we've got. Let me.
Yeah, there were a couple.
Okay. Let me do this too. I'm going to turn on my camera. If you want to ask a question online, you can unmute yourself and your video. So let's see. What did we have? Can I buy a decent new HP laptop for $800? Where? Just do a search and you can find it. HP is the #1 seller of laptops, and so you will see inexpensive laptops. In fact, the laptop that I'm currently using won't be able to be updated to Windows 11. I think when I bought this 8 years ago, I think I paid $300 and some, and I would expect to be able to find a similar model for less than $400 for this type. But just look around. Again, they're basic. First, define your needs. Don't go out and buy a cheap laptop and then complain about it not being able to do what you want to do. I use this to do presentations. I would never use this to edit video or to even booting up and doing a Windows update on here can take an hour or so to do a Windows update. It's just not that fast. Now, with a faster hard drive, it can be faster, but again, depends on what you want to use it for. That'll dictate what you should get. Okay, and then it looks like Bonnie was saying Intel versus ADM, 16 gigabytes of RAM storage, whether you have 512 or 1 terabyte. Again, that all factors into the cost. How much storage you need depends on what you want to use it for. If you're going to use it for editing photos or stuff like that, you may need more space than if you're going to store all your photos up on the cloud and do things up there. So it's all kind of dependent. But the 16 gigabytes of RAM, certainly I'd say the minimum would be 12 with Windows 11 and 12 coming down the road. and 16 gigabytes would be fine there. Okay, I think that's it. Other questions, comments?
One comment. Another good review place is Consumer Reports. If you happen to have a subscription, it's a good place to look for things.
I do subscribe to Consumer Reports. I will give my 2 cents on Consumer Reports. I love Consumer Reports for most things. I find them very lacking on electronics. The models that they recommend, and by the time they get a review out, there's almost always something else out there. But
that's true.
But I do like the fact that they'll break it down by these are the things to consider and these are the things to do. So, it's worthwhile looking at some of these things and seeing and that what's out there. Yep.
We have a T-Mobile 6G internet modem. So will we tell T-Mobile to go ahead and update our modem, or will that happen automatically?
Well, a couple of things going on if you have a wireless modem like that from T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon. All of them kind of have the same capabilities, the same thing. You have one is it has to receive a signal. So receiving that signal, hopefully it's 5G capable of receiving a cell phone signal. That's 5th generation cell phone signal. And hopefully you're close enough to one of the towers to get the best speed. Once it gets a signal in, then it's going to broadcast within your place. That's where if you truly do have 6G, 6G is 802.11ax. That's also known as 6G standard for internal transmission. It has to be a combination of the two working together to give you good speed to your devices. And you can always check your speed on your devices, check your connectivity and that. So if I have a cheaper phone, let's say, or a cheaper tablet, and I'm T-Mobile or that is saying you could get up to 1 gigabyte speed, chances are I'm going to see maybe 100 megabyte speed on my phone. I'm not going to see 1 gigabyte on there. Just because there's overhead in receiving it, there's overhead and packaging it up and encrypting it and putting it out on the 6G that you have. Some of these have older modems in there, not capable of 802.11ax. They're going at one of the older speeds and the older quality. So it's a combination of everything, which ends up determining what speed you ultimately get there. And so getting back to your question, you want to keep an eye on it, and if you're unhappy with the speed, that's where usually there are faster options available that you can get. And some of those, if you said, well, I'm really having trouble watching 8K streaming movie on my 100-inch TV, I'd say don't use Wi-Fi, use an Ethernet connection. So you have the coming in and you have an Ethernet connection going to your TV. That takes out a good percentage of lost bandwidth there because they translating it and encrypting it and then unencrypting it and going down, you're removing all of that. Okay. Or Mike, I think, back there had a question.
The other piece about Wi-Fi is there are two carrier frequencies, 2.2 gigahertz and 5, and the antenna and the transmission at the faster speed attenuates faster and going through your walls and everything. So it's a trade-off between can I reach my workshop at this corner of the
we've done is we've got 3 smart TVs, and at times what we've done is we've turned out all of them onto different streaming, and we've turned on our laptops, and we've turned on our phone, and etc. And we've not had any buffering issues or anything like that. And a lot of the stuff that we do have, like with Alexa and all that, that runs through the 2.4. Yeah, and the rest of the stuff.
And that's good, but just to be aware that nothing is free, and so if you happen to be running 5 gigs and find you can't reach the room you used to, that's why. And I also have a car and a dishwasher and a few other things that talk on Wi-Fi, so I think my count's up to 25 devices now. Well, that's real. The other comment I wanted to make is for people who have interest in Apple devices, 9to5mac.com did a nice overview of varying types of Apple devices recently. So just go to 9to5mac.com and then just search for the Apple Gift Guide, and it's very useful and informative.
Okay, Hal?
Do you have a preferred app for AI? There was something in the paper the other day about ChatGPT and something called Claude. That was supposed to be preferred.
Yeah, the question was, did you have a preferred app for AI? It depends on what you're trying to do. There isn't one app per se. Most of the large language model things are using the same software in the background. It's just a question of what were they loaded with? What data were they loaded with? They were loaded with, in some cases, Wikipedia information. Some were loaded with Facebook information. Well, there's a lot of bad information out on some of these places, and then you have problems. So, your question, if I go out and do a Google search, that's using ChatGPT-4. The first response usually that'll come up with, the AI response is from ChatGPT-4. I could go out to Microsoft, because if you have Windows 10 or 11, you'll have a little icon down there for Copilot. Copilot is Microsoft's branded. It's using the same engine as these other services. Google has its own. Google is Gemini. So Google Gemini. You can put in any of these, and some of them excel. If you wanted to sit down and have a chat with a chat bot and talk about things and that, try the different ones. Some people like this one, some people like the other one. So I don't have one per se. And then with AI is this all-encompassing. I go out to a site and I give it to Chuck there, and Chuck had his picture where he's holding his large fish, and I turned it into a weed. Well, that's generative AI. That's using AI. If you have Google Photos app on your phone or on your tablet or that, I can add and remove people using generative AI, and that's built into the Google Photos. And if you have an iPhone, the latest version of the iPhone 16, that has AI built into it. So the photo app on there, I can add and remove people, I can make changes. So you're seeing AI built into kind of everything, and including Microsoft built it into their Office suite. So if you're using Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you can use it both to help you do things, or you can use it to rewrite and do things. One more thing. If I was recording this on Zoom, with literally one click of the button, I can create a complete transcript of this entire meeting. I didn't have to have anyone sit down, type it in, do anything like that. That's using AI. So you have all of these different tools built into the tools. Ideally, it's built into the tools where you don't have to exit out, do something, ask a question, and come back.
I just noticed yesterday on one of these AI sites, you can now do, it will create a video for you.
Y-
You input a request, you can request a name or some famous person that will warn you of where that is.
Yeah, and I think I showed the demo maybe 3 years ago or 4 years ago from a site, a genealogy site actually it is. It's MyHeritage. MyHeritage, you upload a few photos of people. It'll create a video. Then you can actually create a narration. Give it a script, and you can have Uncle Fred, who died 100 years ago. He sits in a little box there going through the slideshow of the family history, and it's narrated there. And that was 3, 4 years ago. In that time, this has gone leaps and bounds ahead for some of the stuff there. Yeah.
I guess now I've got to comment again. Last year at our MaxSig, we showed a clip of there's a guy who does YouTube videos, but he does like tech videos called Marcus Brownlee, and he did how generative AI for video has changed in 1 year. And it starts with a very funky looking Will Smith eating spaghetti, and then it turns into he wrote 3 sentences. A woman walking down a rainy street in Tokyo with signs flashing in the background and reflections off the street. And it looks also much more realistic. Now, photorealism is not new in the computer world, but having a simple sentence generated is. So I can probably get you a link to that clip just to show you. But the other comment is AI is actually 40, 50 years old. It's just different levels. If you called Alexa or Siri for anything, and they've been out there at least 10 years, that's also AI, but it's not generative AI. And there's machine learning, so there are different levels that we've probably been experiencing and really didn't know it. But there's, anyway, a lot that's happening now in the generative AI, and a lot of it's useful. There are a number of companies now using it for cybersecurity because they can search for patterns and look for something that looks hinky a lot faster than humans can. But a lot of it comes down to what guards or boundaries we put on the search. Because, like Tom said, some of the information might come from Wikipedia, so you have to say, don't consider this and don't consider this. And if they don't have origins for the materials, then be really suspicious. So they're working this out while we're in the middle of it. It's going to be a bumpy ride, as they say.
Well, and I wouldn't necessarily say a clunky. I mean, certainly don't believe everything that you see. That's the hallucinations. And actually, in January, we plan on revisiting AI again and showing some of the capabilities. Because to me, it's as big of a change as the internet itself. The capabilities that we have today, and they're only going to get better. As the machines get more powerful, there's no limit to what can't be done. I know people that have their own version of a large language model. So, as an example, I could take all of the handouts that I've done, load them into a large language model, and that would be my version of an AI. And I can converse with it. I could ask it questions. And the only data that it uses is the data that I fed into it. So it's not using the internet. It's not using these other sources. So if I trust my own data, it's giving me those results to the point where I mentioned in here Microsoft. Microsoft their newer PCs will be co-branded Copilot Plus. Copilot Plus, one of the features in there is a feature called Recall. Recall is a feature, you have the option to turn it on or off. It will take every 15 seconds, it takes an image of your screen and processes it. And it puts it into a large language model, such that a month from now or 2 months from now, I can say, I was looking for a toaster. What toaster was I looking, or what site was I looking? And it'll tell you. It'll tell you what it found, because it's information that you had, and it's able to do that. Now, Microsoft and the developers thought this is the best thing under sliced toast. When they first announced it, everyone was going, you can't be taking screenshots of my stuff every 15 seconds, and I don't want you, viewing stuff. And Microsoft's going, well, you can turn it off. You can turn it off. You don't have to have it on. And the data never leaves your PC. So that's why you need large hard drives. That's why you need these graphic processors. That's why you have this. But we talked about the glasses and being able to recognize people. This is another thing where essentially the machine is memorizing everything that you're doing on the computer and what you are doing, to the point where you can ask it at any time to, what was I doing here, or go back to this site, or find this. And I find that very, very useful. And when I have a machine that's capable of that, I'm going to turn it on and I'm going to use it. Again, it's taking a screen image and then it's analyzing that screen image. What's that? No, because I might want to say a year ago I was doing something or that. But yeah.
Has anybody installed CarPlay on a car that doesn't not
Yeah, I did a presentation on Android Auto and CarPlay, Apple CarPlay, and so take a look at that, because some people just assume that when they have their Bluetooth connection and they're getting something out of the speakers, that they've connected. No, you haven't. So if you have a car that has a console display, you can use that display to a lot of features, and there are certain apps that will interface from your phone to the CarPlay and let you do things. Okay?
Yeah. I was at a lecture not too long ago where people who from universities and from schools are concerned about AI, because somebody could say, generate a term paper for me. And a lot of times the teachers in these schools are not that savvy about these things, and there are committees now. How do we deal with this to know that what the students are coming up with is really something that's original from them? It's a problem.
Yeah, what they'll talk about is there has to be guardrails on some of this stuff on what's done. Also, in addition to the guardrails on what's done is kind of like what you're doing. Well, if we get smarter and smarter devices and smarter AIs, or these chatbots and things like that, all of a sudden it becomes this issue of, what should our schools be teaching kids? Should they just be teaching the kids how to interface with this, instead of spending all the time maybe doing XYZ? And those discussions have been going on for years. It's really no different than when calculators came in, and programming calculators. How do you use that? Do you allow it in there? What do you do? And as a society, we have to figure out where we want to go with some of this stuff. And there should be lots of discussion on all of these things. I'm not in favor of, let's put a halt on everything, because you can't put a halt on it. You can stop some of the companies from doing things in the United States, but guess what? China's just going to be years and years ahead of us down the road there. China had the capability of on their street corner monitoring everybody as they passed by. Now, is that an invasion of privacy? Is that good? Is that bad? That's, as a society, we're going to have to make those decisions. Yeah.
I'm like Mike now. I've got two comments. One, I've got a college professor friend that was evaluating AI tools to evaluate student papers to see if they're generated by AI. So it's coming around both ways there. I noticed you had the laser printer there, but not the any inkjets. Any comments on having to watch for ink as a service with printers these days, where cartridges are disabled by the manufacturer if you're not paying a $10 a month fees or whatnot for the ink service?
Yeah, what you may want to look at there for printers is Chuck and I did a presentation. It goes back 2 years, but 99% of the stuff is still valid in there. I don't recommend anyone use a printer that has cartridges like that. The cartridges, if I have my figures correct, which I believe, the ink in the cartridges is costing you more than gold does. That's how expensive that ink is per ounce in there. Well, people don't want to pay that price. So if you did want an inkjet printer, you go to a tank or a bottle. Now you can buy the printers that you just put in a tank or a bottle. You're paying, that's the cheapest printing that you can do, period. But you still have some problems with the jets getting clogged and that. But if you were to do color, that's the best way to do color. Laser jets aren't good at color. Even a color laser jet isn't good at color.
I do have a LaserJet cartridge printer, and it's over 10 years old and it works great.
Yes, but photographically, I'm a photographer,
I don't do
and it's okay. It's not good.
I don't.
But so black and white, no question. And if you look at the presentation, you'll see what I personally do is I have a Canon laser printer. I print everything black and white. If I need something in color or I need a photo or that, I send it down. I have a Walgreens 2 blocks from me. By the time I send it down there, I can walk down there and pick it up. And that's going to be a higher quality, better paper at a fraction of the cost if I was printing it myself.
And I do a Christmas letter every year, and what I do for that, because there are photographs there, I take that over to Office Max. Same reason, because I get better quality photos if I go to Office Max and do it on their printer.
And it's not just the cost of the cartridges. Some of the companies now are providing a service. You sign up and you pay per month. If you discontinue that service, no matter what fill level your cartridges are at, they
disable it.
Don't use those cartridges. They disable it. It's like the John Deere tractors they turn off.
Yeah, it's, HP and stuff like that has tried to control that. Now, we all have to be sympathetic with that because 3M is the one that makes the ink that goes into those HP cartridges.
Keep using it.
So indirectly, I'm talking smack about it, but 3M makes a ton of money with HP.
And the flexible circuits that are on the cartridges.
Yes.
Columbia.
Yeah. So, but in general, it's that case of, like you said, they really do want to control it. They want you to have the automatic refill and send out the new cartridges. But if you add up the costs of that per page and that, it's and the laser printers, like I said, started out at $1,000 or more, and now have come down. The laser printer I bought when I retired from 3M, I just put in a new cartridge. So I got over 6,000 pages printed. That was a printer that I paid $299 for with the cartridge. And that's been my total cost for 6 years, $299. Yeah.
Your text has a message now, which has the link to the
Yep, we've gone to, sorry we've gone over here, but good discussion. Nice to see everybody, and happy holidays, and we'll see you again. And if you do have more questions too, I do put on the question and answer December 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, because I was behind all that technology.
Thank you, Tom.
Oh, you're welcome.